Okay, this is 8th grade, Unit 1, Rigid Transformations and Congruence. This is Lesson 1, Moving in the Plane. So one example of using Doceri is to put a map of the United States. You can give the kids an image of something to move along that map. And let's say that the game is that they have to move from the center of one state to the center of another state. And so in this case, from California to Wisconsin. And the nice thing about Doceri is it snaps lines to a vertical line or a horizontal line, so you can identify where those lines cross. It's really preparing them for work in a coordinate grid or a coordinate plane. So move the shape along a straight line. It doesn't have to be horizontal to be a translation, but in this case it is. And we're going to have it rotate. So the other kind of transformation in Lesson 1 is a rotation, so both a translation and a rotation. So you have that shape rotate around that point. And this comes up a little bit later, rotating shapes around points, and now have it travel up to the center of Wisconsin. And you could have kids identify 2 or 3 states that they have to move to. So let's say now you're going to move from Wisconsin to New Mexico. So you put a point in the center of New Mexico. You're going to snap a line that's actually draw a line that's horizontal. So if you touch a second finger to the screen as you're using Doceri, it will snap. There it goes to a horizontal line. Go past the point, and then you can snap a line from that point, a vertical line, and now have that shape travel from the point in Wisconsin. So now you're going to rotate around the point. And this is a translation. As you move along that straight line, it's a translation. Now again, it doesn't have to be a horizontal line, but it does have to be a straight line as you translate. I think it has to be a straight line. And then the rotation is the second transformation in Unit 1. The one that they do not do in Lesson 1 is reflection. We'll get to that a little bit later. All right, so now that shape is going to translate. And the nice thing about, I didn't realize this, but shapes that you import into, images that you import into Doceri actually snap to vertical and horizontal position as well. So it translates down to the middle of New Mexico. Now you can use anything. You can use a map of the United States as the background. Nice thing in Doceri is that you can change the backgrounds. So let's change the background from the United States to a background of something a little bit more engaging for some of the kids, a football field. And let's say that you're running a route. You're a receiver on a football team. You're running a route during a play. So it's a translation as you run along that route, and then it's a rotation. So how much are you rotating? That we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's say you run a little bit farther and rotate again. Now there are 2 routes that match identically. They are mirror images of each other. Those are reflections, and we will get to those later, not in this lesson. So what I'm trying to do is give you some ideas of what you can do in Doceri and what you can have your kids do in Doceri. So you move along this pass route, and finally you get to the end. I had done this a little bit earlier, so there's already an image there. A little bit of scaling. I want to talk about scaling as you're doing this. So a football field would make a nice background, and different ways to move within a plane. And it's set up as a grid. It works nicely into a coordinate plane. Soccer field. So you can have a couple players, and one player is moving around the pitch. I don't know much about soccer, but you can design plays and have people go in certain directions. Kids that do know about soccer can talk about translations and rotations in that play. Basketball court. Go down to the 3-point line. So if you dribble down to the 3-point line, that is a translation. Then you have to rotate. You're going to take a 3-point shot. You do have to rotate towards the rim at some point in time. Stay behind the 3-point line and shoot the shot and hopefully score 3 points. There's a line snap. So I placed a point first in the basket, and then you can snap a line. This is the nice thing about Doceri, is you can draw these straight lines. This is the summary for lesson 1, and they asked the question. This is the second question, I believe, in the summary. What's the rotation of A to C? You can actually import a protractor into Doceri and measure that angle exactly. It turns out to be 45 degrees. So going from a line along the edge of figure A to that same line along the edge of figure B, I think it is. You rotate the figures 45 degrees. That's a 45-degree rotation. And again, I'm just trying to show you different things that you can do in Doceri. The whole idea is to get kids to understand movement within a plane, how much you do, how much you repeat in future lessons. That'll play itself out. Now the interesting thing is, if you follow a path, you're going to draw this line vertically. And the path, if you're following a path going in a positive direction, so going north or a positive direction, and you turn at an angle, that was the result of that 45-degree rotation. Which is the angle that you then move along is the supplementary angle to 45 degrees. It's going to turn out to be 135 degrees. So there's the 45-degree angle. And if you're moving along a path and it has rotated 45 degrees, the path that you're going to follow, that you're going to trace, actually has a 135-degree angle in it. Now, if it's always true, so it's something to look for in the future as we do this. But again, it's just the discussion about angles, rotations, translations, and so on.